Looking for a quick and effective way to add in a distant tree line? In this video right here, I'm going to show you how to nail it every time. Hey, Wild coming at you from my Creative Control playlist where I try to give you the best tips and tricks. And lucky for you, I'm bringing you a really quick power tip on how to add in a very distant tree line. I was just painting this a couple of days ago and a lot of people are asking me, how do I do that? And it's very easy. I'm going to show you the simple technique to nail a very distant tree line every time. Let's go to the canvas and take a look. So the colors that we're going to use to create our tree line are a cadmium yellow, a sap green, a phthalo blue, a titanium white, and a mixing white here, which is my liquid white / magic white. The colors aren't as important because you can change them up to be whatever you want for your tree lines, but these are a good base to start with that I'm going to use for the tutorial here. What's the most important part are the actual tools, and the tools we're going to use are fan brushes. These fan brushes are awesome and perfect for them. These are the basic Bob Ross kit ones that you get. This one that comes in the kit, this is a number 6 fan brush, and this one you got to buy separately. You can buy this on Amazon for a couple bucks. I'll put a link in the description below. This is a number 3. Both of these are great at creating very distant trees by tapping them in. This one's a little more harder to use only because it's so big. I would probably recommend it on a canvas that's bigger than a 16 by 20. So I'm going to recommend this tool. But what I actually prefer a lot more is not using the Bob Ross because it's beautiful and it bends real easily with all the details I need to create. I actually like to use a more firm brush that's actually been a little more worn-torn because this way it creates a few more gaps in there. So I'm going to show you how to use this brush, which I will also link in the description below so you can check it out to see if you like it. It's a little more firmer on when you press it down. So let me show you how I create this tree line. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to start off with some color, and since things are in the distance, generally they're lighter in value. So we're going to grab a little bit of white and green and just get a little speck of yellow in there just to lighten up this color down here. And we're going to make sure it's all nice and mixed. And I'm not worried too much about the value here, just to give you a nice representation of what it should look like in the distance. And you don't want to load up your fan brush too much. You make sure when you get a nice even application and wiggle that paint through so that way it gets right on the brush. If you got too much, you can tap it out there. And there we go. There's our fan brush. Now we need to decide where we're going to put our hills of our lines of our trees at, and that's completely up to you as the artist. But for me, I'm just going to start with one here. And so the way that we attack the canvas is actually we want to dip our elbow down and lift with this corner up, and we're going to kind of push and jab down as we go. So we're literally going to go in and pull, and you kind of just dab it just like that there. And just keep slicing and jabbing down and in. Some of these trees will be higher, some of them will be lower. Just reload if you need to. And fade that down and out just like that. And there we have the base for our tree line there. From there, we're going to take a 2-inch brush. You can take a 1-inch brush if you're a little more comfortable. And we're just going to tap down the base of this. We're just using the corner of the brush. And we're creating a nice layer of diffusion down here, so when we throw the next layer in front of it, it'll have a nice soft background with all the colors poking through on the back. So just pull that color down, and then just give it a nice straight lift up. The reason we give it a straight lift up is because trees generally grow straight up towards the sunlight, so very lightly, just give it a nice little brush. Nice short stroke up. Don't go too far up. And there we've got our first layer. Now we can go back in here and we can add, since we need some contrast, we're going to add a little bit of blue to this. Get a little more of this white in here. Just going to grab a little bit of the mixing white, just get it a little smoother. Here we go. We got a nice, deeper, darker color in here. And now we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add my ridge line over here just for fun. And we're going to push in and jab down. Just take it right in front of this. Maybe this one comes up a little higher than that. And slowly let it fade out. And do the exact same thing. Take your 2-inch brush, and tap this down, get it all nice and diffused here on the bottom. Got a little hair there, it's fine. And give it a nice little lift up. And there you can see how you can create rows and layers of trees. And whatever you get down here, don't worry about it. You can just fade that down and out. We don't care what happens on the bottom half because we're always going to be putting more layers in front of that. Now there's a few more tricks you can do. If we go back here and let's just wipe off our brush here really quick. We don't really care for the sake of an example. Let's just say if we were going to lighten this color up down here again. Let's grab some green, some of this white again. Let's make a very light color again. Add some of this mixing white in here. Just get it all smooth because we're going to put another layer on there. Now you can do a highlight side and a dark side all at the same time. All you got to do is take your paintbrush through on one side and then flip it over and just go through our white. And now you've got pretty much, let's wiggle it through there. Now you've got white on one side and you got a darker side on the other. And now you can create a highlight side. So it's going to look like our sun's coming from this side. So again, if we want front of this layer, we can start tapping in again. You're going to get some beams of sunlight coming in on these trees here. And there we've got some beautiful little highlights just kissing the top of some of these trees right here. You can also do another trick. If we were to use a dark color here, let's take a very dark blue and green angle, and we're gonna make this one a little more sparse. Just gonna add a few gaps here. Maybe some trees didn't grow and maybe some did. If you want to add a cool little distance like light is shining through these, going to that soft white that you have there, or liquid white or magic white or any kind of mixing white or any kind of thin down white that you have there, and load up that brush. It doesn't have to be pure white. It's okay if it's got a little green or yellow in it. And what we're going to do is get a nice even application. Not a lot of paint though, not a lot of paint. Just make sure it covers all of the fan brush. And you can come down here and add little streaks of light in here. You can use the corner of the brush, flip over in certain areas. Now we're going to take our 2-inch brush and we're going to do the same thing. Tap this down. And that's how you create a really distant effect of trees that are kind of growing way, way, way back there. You can see all the beautiful light that kind of kicks through, some dark highlighted sides there. You can see how all the layers play differently on each other. And as things get closer, generally they get darker. But remember, if you're gonna have layers show behind layers or in front of other layers, you have to have contrast come through to make it work. These work really, really good in the far distance because you don't need a lot of detail. Your mind will fill in the gaps, and it'll feel like this illusion of just this splashes and cuts of paint are gonna look like very, very distant and out of focus trees. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope that simple little quick power tip showed you how easy it is to drop in one of these tree lines. Remember, you can use any colors that you want. Feel free to make them darker or lighter or adding different highlights that you have. These are just guidelines. Have fun when you're painting out there. That's the best part about making your own world here. It's yours, have fun with it, do whatever you want. I'm just here to give you a little bit of a little extra tip and a little confidence. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with your friends. If you want to watch me paint, you can always watch me on twitch.tv/wildforgames. I usually paint Monday through Friday on there. You can also follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to buy any art from me, the links are below. I will see you guys in the next painting tutorial next time. Take care and peace.